Hi everyone and welcome to Valley Crafty Corner. I have another start to finish layout to share with you today. And it's using the Studio Calico November kit called Sock Hop, and I also got the poodle skirt add-on. So I started out on this layout with the intentions of putting it on, I believe her name is Poke Fan. I think it's like 2001 or something like that. She had a challenge, a subscriber challenge, and it was to do something different that you haven't done before. So I had full intentions of submitting this layout, but I had my sister-in-law, she went to Vegas for a couple days, and I was looking after her 3 kids plus my 2, and I was bombarded with kids. And God bless you people who have large families and young kids, because it was exhausting. I am thoroughly exhausted. It was a lot of running around and just a revolving door of open mouths to feed. So bless you all for if you have a large family. So anyway, going back to the layout, I started off with the craft cardstock as the background, and then I took that dotted paper is actually that paper that comes from Poland, and on the back side there's all those 3x4 they look like little pieces that you could use for your project life. So I liked the dotted background because it was kind of a gradient color, and it it kind of gave it like a little bit of a youthful look to it. So I wanted to use that paper, and I tried using that Fifth and Frolic Arrow paper, but it just didn't work. But here I'm taking another paper from the Fifth and Frolic collection, and I'm cutting out the colors besides the pink. I wanted it to be a little bit more masculine. So I was cutting out that larger V shape to see if I could use it on a layout. One of the things in the challenge from Poke Fan was to use green, and I think it was orange. So I was gonna run with the green color. And pardon me, I got the case of a sniffles. Anyway, I cut that large piece out, and I was going to stick it behind the photo, but I wasn't really liking how that was looking. It just felt a little unbalanced. So I was going to try and use that piece as a photo corner, and it still didn't look right. So I was going to try and add another layer behind the photo, and it just was a little off. It just didn't feel right, so I didn't use any extra layers. Here I'm starting to cut out the individual chevron type pieces. I was going to see if I could make like photo corners with it to kind of accentuate the corners of the photo, but that didn't feel right, so that is not going to actually stay. As well as that arrow paper, it was just not long enough, so that I didn't end up using it at all. And I was bound and determined to use my scraps up, so you know, I wasn't, it just didn't work. So I'm still kind of monkeying around with those individual large chevron pieces, and I kind of came up with the idea, and this was from Mercy Tierra. I saw her cut out some kind of like parquet flooring for a layout that she did and made it look like arrows. It was, I think, from her Harlem paper or her Harlem page that she did. So anyway, I was going to kind of follow that design, and I was going to have the arrows coming, I leave the arrows up at the top coming down, but the ones from the bottom, they looked a little off, so I didn't like how that looked. So I thought if I had them come from the side, just because the arrows were quite large to fill in that bottom space, it just felt off. So here's where I decided I was going to put those arrows to the side, and I like that. Just the arrow paper just felt not quite right for this layout. So I actually took the back side of that, it kind of looks like a flowery print that I did use for my main background for my bundled up paper. And it's kind of this tan and white kind of grid pattern. And I liked how that looked. So I ended up inking up all my edges in black soot ink, of course. And then, so you can see the back side of that paper is all those little cards. They kind of look like those yearbook ones, or not yearbook, I think it was from the Take Note collection from Studio Calico. So here I'm just laying down all the pieces from my layout. And you can see here now how the layout is going to start to take shape. And I'm going to ink up each of those pieces and lay them down. And pardon me, I still have a cold. I've had a cold forever, and it's just not going away. I'm sure it went away, but I'm sure it came back. So I'm apologize. I'm really sniffy, and I'm drinking my coffee because I haven't had my morning coffee yet. And the kids went to school this morning, and it's really quiet in the house, so it's really quite nice. It's been very chaotic for the last couple of days, just constantly running around after kids, and it's just been wow. I thought I was pretty busy with my two kids, and thank goodness they're older, and so yeah, I'm really quite tired. Anyway, back to the layout here. I'm still inking up those little pieces, and what I noticed is when I put this last piece down, it felt a little unbalanced because there was usually a page looks balanced when you have like pieces of 3, pieces of 5, or single photos. So you'll see in a minute here that I go and I get another strip and I'll cut it out. Here I'm just cutting off the excess pieces of those strips. So here I come back and I'm looking for another piece, and I was actually thinking about using those little yellow pieces to kind of add another little arrow pointing towards the picture, but they were just too small. So I went back to that piece of paper and I ended up cutting out that yellow one. And this layout actually came together quite quickly. I had it finished in probably about an hour and a half. Like I walk away for a little bit and then I come back and I do some more. Like I might go run a load of laundry or do some dishes or something like that. So this layout came together quite quickly. Even with all the times that I had to walk away to do something. So yeah, it was a very fast layout. And again, here I'm just inking up that little piece just so that it gets set off from the page. And I know my arrows are a little off on the bottom, but I think that adds interest to it. rather than them being completely square to the photo. So I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I think I'm tapping my fingers trying to figure out what I need to do. Oh, so I'm going to my letter stickers here to come up with a title that I want to use. And you'll see that I have tape on my fingers. Kind of excuse that. I had my nail on one of my fingers was ripped just about halfway across my nail, and it was just hanging on by a thread. It was kind of like a loose tooth, so I had tape on it to kind of hold it on. And then the very next day I went to go grab a case of pop, and it was quite heavy, and I went to go put it down, and when I set it down I heard a crack, and it was the nail on my thumb had cracked. So I was just having tape on my fingers until I could get to the lady that does my nails so that she could fix it. So it looks kind of ridiculous, but there was a reason why there's tape on my fingers. And if you know electricians, that's what electricians do. They'll put tape on their fingers to hide their boo-boos. So here, my title is going to be Superstar. So I was just kind of laying it down on the photo there because that's where I wanted my title to go. And it felt a little like it was floating. So I was thinking about using that washi tape on there, but it just wasn't. It wasn't right. It wasn't long enough, and it was also too dark, so the title would have got lost in it. So I was looking at these other vellum strips, and I was gonna use this yellow piece that was there, but I couldn't rip it off because of the tape on my fingers. So I just said screw it and didn't put it on. And I was looking at the stamp sets to see which stamp I wanted to use, and I was going to use those little arrow pieces to accentuate the arrows that were going on, but I felt like it was going to be a little bit too much. And then here again, I'm kind of going through my die cuts to see what I want to use. And I'm just going to flash past this in a second here, just so you don't have to be bored with me looking through all the pieces. So here's kind of like the pieces that I had grabbed to kind of go with the photo, and I don't use all of these. This is just kind of what I saw at first glance that I thought would go. And I liked that piece that said smile, so I didn't want to waste the whole thing, so I just cut the bottom off. And here I'm just tucking those points underneath the photo. I just felt it looked a little sharp. So I like the fact that it looks a little bit more layered now. And here I'm just looking at some of these die cut pieces to see what I want to use. And I don't end up using that happy piece or that other piece that I have tucked underneath that photo right now. So I decided that I wanted to 100% commit to that piece that says smile on it, because I thought it would be kind of nice to have Superstar Smile. So I decided I was going to take some of that green washi tape and that way the superstar wouldn't be floating above that, or would be floating on the pattern paper. It would have some place to rest. So I decided I was going to put that here, and here I'm just putting everything down to see what it looks like. And then I decided I was going to add this little tag on the side, and that's from the printables. And I found that little happy badge button, and so I was going to cover up the @ with it. So it'd be like, the title would be Happy Superstar Smiles. So I really like the looks of that. So here I'm just taking my crocodile and punching a hole through the tag, and I just wanted to make sure that's what I wanted to do. And here I'm just looking for other things that I could tuck behind the photo to add some dimension. And I know that there's a little kind of a little bare spot above the superstar, and I know I want to cover that up. I'm just kind of monkeying around a little bit for right now to see what else I can do up in the top right corner, but I am going to fix that little awkward piece right there. So here I just take some more of that green washi tape and add it up above the photo, but the arrows don't stick out very much. So I took that vellum kind of diagonal dark blue tape and I added it underneath, and that green really popped in between the diagonal kind of clearish part of the tape. So I really like that. It kind of looks like very teen orientated, even though this isn't a really, like, he's not a teen at this point, but he's not a little kid. He's kind of a tween, I guess, in between kind of thing. And then I was flipping through these chipboard pieces just because I felt that top left part of that photo need to add a little bit more dimension. So that little piece says hello today. So that I was pretty happy with, and I tried seeing if I could add like a label or something underneath it, but it just didn't work. So I really liked how that looked. So usually what happens when I'm happy with how one part looks, I'll move on to another part and see if I can kind of fix that part up. So here I'm putting down the words to say superstar. This is actually the 4th layout in the photos, or sorry, in the layouts from the kit. I haven't finished the 3rd one yet. I'm in the process of doing that video, so I'm hoping I can have that video done in a few more days here. It should be out before this weekend because I have no kids at home right now, just my own kids. My other nieces and nephews, they went home, so it should be easier for me to finish these layouts and videos up. So anyway, there's my title there, and I'm going to add this tag now and just inking it up with the black set ink. And I was going to try to find some other black twine that I might have had kicking around, but I didn't. I usually leave this close to my heart black twine out. It's in a package of neutral colors. I believe there's gray, brown, black, white, and I think there's another color too. But no, it's just those 3. So there's, or those 4. So there's the white, the black, the gray, and the brown. And I leave that package out all the time because it's the neutral colors. So it definitely gets used a lot more. So yeah, so I leave that out, and I always usually grab for it, but unless I have some scraps of black kicking around that I need to use. So I added that happy over top of that at, and I liked how that looked. And here I'm just adding that little chipboard label up at the top. And here I'm starting to kind of notice that I have that awkward little spot in between the title and that little grid paper strip of paper. So now I'm going to see what I can do to kind of fix it. And I'm looking in my little bin of extra pieces there to see what else I can come up with, and I didn't come up with anything at that particular moment. Here I have those enamel dots out and just trying to see if I can use any of those pieces. And I was going to add that shine on to that tag, but it felt like it was going to be a bit too much, just because it would have been a lot of words going on at that particular spot. So what I did is I had this kind of rectangular label from the printouts, and the shine on fit really well on it. So you'll notice I left it blank on that one part, but that is just that's going to get covered underneath the photo, so that's where that's going to go. And I think I'm just heat setting this right now because of the slick surface. You could tell it was really, really wet, and I knew if I touched it, it would smudge. So I wanted to make sure it was heat set before I used it, just because that cardstock is really smooth. So I added that piece there, and then I wanted to add, because there was a lot of squares going on, I wanted to add a circle element to kind of break up all those boxes. So I thought about adding the enamel dots, but that just looked off. So I decided I was going to take this green brad and use that. And I had quite a bit of layers going on, so I had to really make sure I made a good hole to put that post through. And here, just setting the brad. And then up in this corner here, I wanted to add a little bit of yellow to accentuate, like it just felt a little off. There was a lot of yellow going on, but not in this top corner. So I wanted to add a little bit of yellow to it. And then here I decided I was going to add this kind of chevron print to this tag. The tag felt a little blank. So I very, very carefully I couldn't pull that happy piece off, so I was going to have to just kind of deal with the piece being there. So just very carefully inked. I put the stamp on the very, very corner of that piece so that I could stamp on the tag. And I really like how that turned out. It just really popped that tag out a bit more. And here I just added a yellow dot beside that a little badge just to accentuate it a little bit more. And then here I'm just going to do my journaling, and I just kind of followed the lines of the arrow just to accentuate the lines in that a little bit more. So here I'm just finishing up with my journaling. And then here I'm taking one last good look at it to see if there's anything else that needs to be needed, and it doesn't. And I like how that looks. So thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.